What's it like serving President Trump?
And there's boats in the water, and you're hearing the helicopters, and all of a sudden the head of the Secret Service looks at me and goes, "Stop everything that you're doing and leave the premises."
Whoa.
I go, huh? Very, very difficult out there. I was a couple of weeks away from closing the doors. I could either, file bankruptcy. That just wasn't me. It's not what I'm about. No idea what I was getting myself into, but holy moly, I pulled it off.
My guest today started his first business at 12 years old, grilling hot dogs in people's backyards. Today, he runs a full-blown premium catering operation with multiple arms: a butcher shop, a gourmet prepared food store, a food delivery shop, and a growing wholesale business. Ray Tawil, better known as Ray T, is the founder of PREPT by Ray T and Flipped by Ray T. And if you've been to a major event in the community, chances are he catered it. Here's what we discussed: how Ray cooked for President Trump twice, how he pulled off feeding 1,200 people for 10 straight days on a Passover trip, and how just 8 months ago, he was 2 weeks away from shutting down his entire operation. I'm Victor Braca, and Momentum is where we dive deep into the stories behind business success. Enjoy this episode with Ray T. Guys, this episode is sponsored by Yazdi Entertainment. More on them later. Ray Tawil, Prepped by Ray T. Welcome to Momentum.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Just to go over, a little highlight reel of your career. You've cooked for President Trump twice. You've done events with thousands of people. You're set to do 80 events per year nowadays, and you're doing, over 50, 60 events in the 45 days of the summer, which is incredible. And I want to use that as a starting point to go back in your life. Were you always interested in cooking and the culinary arts?
So yeah, I would say from when I was very, very young, like 8 years old. I'm a big family, so I'm bottom of the totem pole. So, I was home and I would help my mom in the kitchen sometimes. Whenever we had Sunday barbecues with my father, I would be able to roll the hot dogs, flip the burger. And once I heard the sizzle of the grill and we got to get hands-on in the kitchen and these types of things, I always knew that this was something I was interested in. And then when I was about 12 years old, somebody called my mother and said, you think Ray would come over to the house and man the grill for us? We have 30 people, but we don't really want to be on the grill.
It's a big job for a 12-year-old.
Yeah. So my mom spoke to my dad and they asked me, I said, are you interested in doing this? We'll drive you to the job and see how it goes.
Wow, that was the start of something big.
Yeah, so really from there, I created my own barbecue business called Grilling Out with Ray T. Don't eat home without me. We made business cards. It was a lot of fun. My parents would have to drive me to the events, would have to, screen who's the people, what house is he going to, stuff like that. And then as I got older, I started to ride my bike to the events. The customers started to ask me, by the way, could you pick up my butcher order? Could you maybe come with the marinades? They started to ask for more things, and I started to do more things, and I really, really started to love it. And then I looked at my parents and I said, the truth, I really want to go on a culinary track. And would you guys help me and support me in doing so? And they said, absolutely. They never wavered from that. But they said, go get some experience. Go work in a restaurant.
Right.
See if it's really something that you love, something that you really like and that you want to do as a career. So I said, okay, fine. I ended up working for Gabe Levy, Chef Gabe Levy. He was the chef and owner of Alice's Restaurant.
Great place.
Yeah,
I remember that place. I must have been 6, 7, 8 years old when it closed down, but amazing place.
Yeah, it was definitely bittersweet when it closed down. I was happy for Gabe. He got to have a break now, but people will stop me in the street. Nothing to do with prep. They'll just be like, the mac and cheese recipe? Can you make me the mac and cheese?
Really? Still to this day?
Yeah, still to this day. Make the mac
awesome.
and cheese. I need the dressings. Where's the dressings? Stuff like that. So it's something that I really, really cherished and really loved. There was really nobody like Gabe. And he opened up his kitchen to me also for when I decided to go to culinary school. I went to Johnson & Wales University. It's arguably the #1 culinary school in the country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How'd you get into there?
So you apply, you take the SATs, you apply like anybody else. Listen, the acceptance rate is high, but the dropout rate is even higher.
Right.
So
it's challenging.
It's challenging, very, very challenging. My freshman year, we started off with 2,000 kids in the grade. we were down to 500-600.
Wow.
By the end of the year. Yeah.
Probably the highest, like one of the highest dropout rates of any
It's
major.
very, very high dropout rate. A lot of kids, like, they're going because maybe they think they like it, maybe they don't think they like it, maybe this is something that they're gonna do, maybe they weren't good academically, so they said they're gonna do this, and then once you get thrown into the curriculum and you get thrown into 7-8 hour labs, a lab is a cooking class, you know, you have to show up. Yeah, you have. It's dual curriculum. So like the same way we go to yeshiva and we have you know, Hebrew classes in the morning, and you have to go to minyan, and then you do all your English curriculum in the afternoon. You're getting home at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. So we had to do that, and kids coming from public school not used to that.
Right.
So that was a regimen that I really knew how to do. We would have to show up to a roll call at 5:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, for a 6 o'clock in the morning class.
It sort of emulates like a real restaurant.
Real restaurant, real boot camp style. You have to have a pressed uniform, no stains. If you want to have a beard, you have to wear a beard guard. If you don't want to have a beard, they take a credit card and they swipe your face to make sure that there's no hairs coming off. They check your fingernails.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very strict. And you have to keep like a tight to-go pen in your pocket, because if you get a stain during production, you have like 20 minutes to go to your room and get a new coat or just take the stain out.
Where was the school?
I went to the big new campus, which was in Rhode Island. So the Cuisinart company created a brand new building, the Cuisinart Building of Excellence, Culinary Building of Excellence, and there were 30 kitchens in that building.
Wow.
Yeah, all state-of-the-art, top line. You got to deal with, you know, Wolf and Viking and Vulcan, and every kitchen had its own brand and its own company, and a lot of toys. A lot of toys, a lot of gadgets. Yeah, you had to have the best time, and you really didn't realize what you were doing and what you had until you left college and you started to have to pay for all these things.
Right.
And you saw that the oven that you were using, you know, this combi oven that you're using is $100,000.
Wow.
You know, or you're in dessert class and you're making ice cream. Yeah, just throw it in the blast chiller. That blast chiller that fits one little ice cream in is 20 grand.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
State-of-the-art equipment, though.
Yeah, state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art. I mean, the chefs there, the teachers there, they all decorated chefs who are coming, you know, to now teach the next generation, and really, really, it was just an amazing experience. So during that time, when I came back on weekends, I was able to practice all the non-kosher recipes and ingredients that I was using. I was able to practice in Gabe's kitchen and try and get a feel for those flavors and that technique.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the non-kosher recipes. How does it work when you're in culinary school as a religious Orthodox Jew?
Yeah, so I was actually, they've had many Jewish people on campus, but the dean himself told me when I had a meeting with him that I was the only practicing Orthodox Jew on campus.
Probably out of 3,000 in the beginning, and then out of the 500, right?
Yeah. It was pretty intense. I didn't realize that. I had a meeting with the dean a few weeks before classes started. My brother, Rabbi Ike, you know, he made me a list of do's and don'ts, you know, cans and cannots. And I handed it to the dean, and he looked at everything. He was like, this is all great, but I'm just letting you know that you're getting graded just like anybody else.
Right.
So if your food doesn't taste good, you know? I was like, okay, thank you so much, you know, but we're going to do this. You know, we're going to do this. He said, go for it. He said, if I were you, I would make a good friend that you trust to taste your food, because like I said, everything has to be tasted. Everything's going to be graded.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I ended up making a very close friend who I'm still friends with till today. Joshua Zarichny from Bayonne, New Jersey. You know, really, really great guy. We were in day one classes together, and he tasted everything that I made. And he would tell me, you know, it needs a little salt. It's not salty enough, you know, more acid, things like that. And over time, your senses tend to heighten. So like you could really smell when something's bitter. You could smell sweetness. You don't always have to taste it.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, you could see, you know, a viscosity of a sauce, and you could really tell, well, you know, did that sauce break? I don't need to taste it to see if it broke. You could see it. Like if you're making a blonde roux versus a dark roux, these are things you could see. You don't have to taste everything in order to make a successful dish. Even though now I don't let anybody who's working with me has to taste everything.
Right.
You know, so I guess I'm thankful to Johnson & Wales for allowing me to go through the process without having to taste anything.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. It's even very interesting how you can't mix meat and milk together.
Right.
So that whole halacha comes down as, a kosher animal, even if it's not slaughtered under kosher supervision, a kosher animal can't be mixed with milk.
Okay.
So a lot of times I would actually choose to work with the pork. I would choose to work with a non-kosher animal
Because you are allowed to mix that.
exactly. There were actually less restrictions on cooking with a non-kosher animal than it was with the kosher animal.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
very, very
That's
cool.
so different. It's funny, like you were the only Orthodox Jew or practicing Jew in that program. I think for good reason. I think like a lot of people, I would say Jews, but Syrians especially, would be afraid to go into a creative business like the culinary arts, like being a chef or a cook, because they're worried about how much money they'll make or what it might be. Like, was that ever a concern for you?
It's definitely a concern. It's still a concern till this day. I had a decision to make. Do I want to do all this training, and do I want to do it the right way, the real way, like all of the Americans are doing, and take it out of here? Go stage at the French Laundry, go to Italy for a little bit, start gaining more culinary experience and expertise.
You could have become like a celebrity chef.
Who knows? Who knows? But I didn't put myself on that track after college. I put myself on we have a very strong upbringing. We have very strong values here in the community. We're Orthodox Jews. We're Syrian, SY Orthodox Jews. And, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Throughout my college career, I was dating my high school sweetheart, and I wanted to get married, wanted to get married, start a family. What is life at the end of the day? So you can turn around and be like, look at this sick restaurant, but you don't have a family and a wife to celebrate it. It's really nothing. So
you wanted to keep that those community roots.
100%.
Right.
100%. So right out of college, I married my wife, Theta Beta, and we have 4 beautiful kids. And the community who has supported me from when I was 12 years old, and the community who love to see me in Alice's and who love to see me, just all over the deal during the summer times, chugging along, doing the barbecues and things like that. I mean, I had no reason to leave them. They were very good to me. So moving forward, I said, you know what, maybe I could bring something different, something more special, something elevated, something more from a chef's point of view, not just the cook, not just the person who does it as a hobby, but a person who's invested in their entire life doing this.
Right. I want to go back before you get to that.
Yeah.
I want to jump back to when you were aged 12 to 17, 18. You're in high school, or you're in elementary school.
Yeah.
And then high school. And you go into people's houses, your parents are driving you there, or you're riding your bike with your portable grill, or you're using their grill, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
My question is, you could have done that as a hobby. You could have just, cooked or grilled, fired up the grill when you felt like it, and not had to make it into a business. Where did that entrepreneurship come from?
So yeah, I come from a very, very strong home, a home of doers, so like both my parents are community servants, have always been active in all of our institutions. And I was taught from a very young age that we have to be building and giving back to the community all the time, and you have to be moving. You got to be working. You got to be doing something. So yes, I didn't do it because I needed to do it. I did it because I genuinely wanted to do something. I wanted to, put my stamp on the community. I wanted to get involved. I wanted people to know who I was. I really wanted to bring that love that I've been experiencing at that time to other people. I thought that it was new. I thought that it was innovative. I didn't really see anybody else doing it. I thought it's a very cool thing that I got attracted to and that I wanted to do. Yeah, it's different. I always love to be different. All my brothers, we're big sports players. So my brothers, we're a hockey family. Everybody wants to score goals. Everybody wants to go be the superstar. Of course, I'm different. I decided I'm going to be the goalie. Baseball, my brother's shortstop. This one's pitcher. The other one's the coach. Okay, I'm the catcher. I always had to be a little bit different, a little bit off the beaten path. I also looked up to my brothers too. I mean, they're all doers. They're all, we got 2 rabbis. That's like they're servants to the community. Yeah. It's a 24/7 job. So I never pictured myself sitting at a desk or being at a computer or taking phone calls or or dealing with people virtually. I love the interaction, the personal interaction. I love seeing the people's faces and hearing their compliments, you know. Yeah, it's tough when it's not always good stuff, but it's important to hear and it's important to see and it's important to grow from that. So I don't know, I loved it. I was always working.
Right. I know. I love how you had that passion for being out in the field, so to speak, and like being in front of people as opposed to just being behind a desk. I could say that a lot of young people, or a lot of people in general, have that passion or gravitate towards wanting to interact with people as opposed to just look at a screen all day. But the majority of people don't follow that. The majority of people are nervous and afraid they won't make enough money, or they won't, that maybe they don't believe in themselves, whatever it might be, and they don't go to culinary school. They don't pursue a career of, you know, culinary arts within the community. So like I respect how you chase that, you know, and thank God today you built a premium brand for yourself that anybody who had the same dream as you who didn't take action, like you said, you come from a family of doers. Anybody who didn't take action doesn't have, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very, very important to. I know that people say it all the time, and it's a cliche. You know, love what you do. If you love what you do, it's like you never worked a day in your life.
Is it true?
I love what I do. I'm working every day of my life.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, it's the love and it's the passion that gets you through the times when, yeah, you live in this community and you can't pay the bills.
Right.
You know, you're not always, you can't, in my opinion, you can't make a decision and stop your love and passion, which is what's going to drive you to end up being successful. You can't make that decision and not do it because initially on paper, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to make it here in the community. Or initially, people are telling you, in order to scale this up, you're going to need X, Y, and Z. Okay, so come with a plan, make a plan. Go get the right people to do that plan with you and make it a reality and make it happen.
Love it.
And not always are you going to make it happen the way you initially envisioned it or the way people are thinking from the outside looking in. Oh, he'll never be able to make it doing that. You got to make it happen. So if it's really a passion that you have and you have that drive and you're really offering something different and offering something to the community that's different, the community realizes that and they'll support that, and there's no greater community than the community we live in.
I love it. And I totally agree. We have this fly over here that's trying to get in the podcast, you know. But so I want to jump back into your story for a second. You're working for Gabe Levy while you're in school, like on the weekends and whatever.
Yes.
And when you graduated, did you want to continue working as a chef in a restaurant? Did you immediately start your own thing? Tell me about graduation for you.
So it's a good question. So it was a 4-year program. The first 2 years, I got the associates in the culinary arts, and then I had to apply to a different type of program. So you could either go into hospitality, where you don't really do cooking anymore. You learn the hotel business and the restaurant
like
business,
hospitality
management, how to run a business, how to do those types of things. I was just itching to get back in the kitchen. My first 2 years just wasn't enough. And they had a really, really top-notch culinary nutrition with a concentration in food science program. I'm a big science guy. You know, when you see molecular gastronomy, spherification, they're turning the juice into caviar and then, you know, all that stuff. So I did that for 2 years in Johnson & Wales. It was really, really a fantastic experience. And it's something that I'm so happy that I did. You know, very few people from the associates program get accepted into this program. Cool. So I got accepted. And I finished another 2 years, so 4 years, and I got my BS in culinary nutrition with a concentration in food science.
And did you get that as like a backup, you know, just in case the like practicing culinary arts wouldn't work out? What drove you to get that second degree? Because you could have only gone to school for 2 years and gone into business.
So flat out, my parents are what drove me. They were very specific on saying, we support you and we love this idea. They paid for the university, you know, they did it, but they needed to know that if God forbid I had a change of heart or something happened and couldn't make it, you have to have that college degree. At that time, college degree was very, very important. You have to have that college degree to fall back on. But at the end of the 2 years, I wanted more.
Right.
I didn't know I was going to want more, but I wanted more. It was very difficult for me to live away. I didn't take well to living away. So classes were Monday through Thursday. There were no classes Friday and Sunday. So Thursday night, right after class, I'd get on the Acela in Rhode Island and I'd go 3 hours to Penn Station and then another 45 minutes to get home, just because I couldn't sleep there the weekends. I needed Shabbat. I needed to see my girlfriend at the time. I needed to see my family. That's what I needed to do. So, some people will say that hindered me from enjoying being away. I think it was the opposite. I think it rejuvenated me to keep going every week and every week, because I got a reboost, I guess, over the weekend. I got good food. I got to see my family and my friends. It was nice. So that's how I worked those 4 years.
I have to say, I really respect your parents' nuanced approach, which was to let you pursue, culinary school, but also make sure you have a backup. I think most parents would just say, no, be a lawyer. Like go to dental school, go to whatever medical school. You know what I mean? So I think I love that approach. Let's talk parties for a second, guys. Let's be real. We all love partying, but don't even get me started on planning a party. The pressure is so stressful, from juggling multiple vendors to choosing the right music, lights, games. It can really be a real nightmare. That's where my good friends at Yazdi Entertainment come in. These guys are the expert one-stop shop for event production, whether it's a wedding, engagement, bar, bat mitzvah, corporate event, literally any type of event or party. Yazdi Entertainment is the only call you will need to make. Mark my words on that. I'm talking lighting, sound, male or female DJs, photo booths, games, staging. They do it all. Guys, if you're planning a party, make the call to Yazdi Entertainment. And if you're not, it might just be time for you to throw one just to get to work with Eli and his team. Guys, you can call 646-765-5643 or email yazdientertainment@gmail.com. And be sure to check out their Instagram at Yazdi Entertainment for their back to school giveaway. All right, back to the episode. So you graduated, after you graduated culinary school, after this 2-year program that was after the base culinary program,
Right.
You're back in Brooklyn. And are you running your business at the time?
So I'm back in Brooklyn. My business is only booming more and more. And I get married. I move to the city, and I start really, really pumping and really kicking the Grilling Out with Ray T. It builds into full catering, where people asking for staff. I have a staffing company who's been staffing me for over a decade. People have been asking me now for the side dishes and hot foods, and why just barbecue? Or what if I want like a meal, like the braised short ribs and the veal and these types of items? And it really, really snowballed into a full-blown catering company. And that was very, very exciting to see. Like I said, there's no one like our community. So
Right.
Once the community starts to talk positively about you, and they start to see that you're talented and that you're next level, they start talking to everybody else.
Take me into that formation of an actual, of a legitimate company, because was it just a product of how long you've been doing it? I'm sure your work quality was very good, but I think there's a lot of people in the community who are doing what they're doing, trying to stand out, but then that step for you of turning it from a one-on-one, one-man band, going to somebody's house and grilling, to hiring staffers and
Right.
A whole catering company. I think a lot of people are lost in the middle. There's that journey in the middle. What do you do? How do you grow it?
So there's different ways of growing it. You could get an investor and say, this is my plan, and let's go for it. And you start purchasing things, and you say, I'm a caterer now. But the way that I went about it is, every single event, when the needs changed and when I needed to get something, I slowly built up to the point where now somebody calls you for a 1,000-person event, I have everything that I needed to do it. But I didn't turn around after college and say, I need $500,000 right now. I'm going to get a truck. I'm going to get all this equipment. I'm going to get platters and all these types of things, and say, now I'm a caterer, then spend another 5 years to pay that back.
Right.
As the events happened, I didn't pull a profit from a lot of events for a long amount of time, but I also didn't have to spend money in order to build those things up. So all of a sudden, a few years later, you turn around and you own 6 cast iron grills, and you own a fleet of fryers, and you have this open flame grill, and you have a rotisserie, and you have serving platters. Oh, we have wood. Now we have mother of pearl. Now we have stainless steel. You turn around, and over time, as long as you have events coming in and you have things that you can rely on coming in, you could keep putting it back into the company.
Nice. And what does growing your business look like? I think for a lot of people, it's sleepless nights, skipping parties, working weekends. Is that what it looks like for you?
Yeah, it's no life. It's
Right.
definitely no life. The community and the parties and the culinary world, that love and passion that you have for what you do becomes your life. My mentor and chef Gabe will always say, if you're gonna do a restaurant, you're married to the restaurant. You know, and that's really true. I am married to my company, but now the company's prepped by Ray T and flipped by Ray T, and I'm okay with being married to my own company, to my own brand. That's really been headed to the next level, thank God. Um, yeah, there was some tough times. There still are very tough times where I'll turn to my wife and I'll be like, I don't know, maybe we should just do something else. And those are the times where she picks
Until
me
today?
up. Yeah, till today. I had a meltdown a few weeks ago, and I was just like, I don't know, maybe it's time to just call it quits and go do something else. And then that's when she picks you up and she tells you, absolutely not. Relax. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. And we always figure it out, and we're always fine. Then there's other times where she could turn around to me and she'll be like, I would love to just have a night. I would love to have a night. Could we get a Thursday night to go out to dinner? Could we do something? So those are times you have to be sensitive to that situation. And thank God, in building this company now with my new partners, it's really been a tremendous last 8 months. Um, we were so people should know it's not all glamour, it's not all fun and games. It's very, very difficult out there. I was a couple of weeks away from closing the doors to prep.
Really, for
Yeah.
the 10, 20-year business, and you were a couple weeks away from.
Yeah,
Wow.
we were a couple of weeks. We had really tremendous, outstanding balances with our vendors, but through my relationships over the years, I'm very into, like, I have one vendor for each item. I don't really shop around. I make good relationships and I have good people behind me. So thank God, those vendors allowed, for 90 days sometimes, to pay, when that's unheard of, when other people are getting 7 and 14, maybe 30 if they're lucky. So I really had a great team behind me who wanted to see me succeed.
You had the reputation.
Yeah, and I had a great reputation, I had great credibility. So thank God, during those couple of weeks, I got a new investor, and it's really been tremendous afterwards. It's not only about the plan, it's about the execution. You have to be building up. In this company, it's a game of inches in this type of business. So small wins are going to eventually get you to that touchdown, to that end zone that you need to be at. So it's not just, oh, if you do this, now all of a sudden you made it. You're constantly trying to have small wins in order to break that ceiling and make it. So my new partners were able to really, really put me on a track and have a plan and have a regimented plan on where we want to be and how we're going to go out and do it. And that's very, very important. I'm very goal oriented. When it comes to catering an event, they post the menu. This is the menu. Okay, go do the menu. I could do that. So when you're goal oriented and you need to hit certain milestones by a certain amount of time, now you have a drive. Now you have a focus. Now you know what you need to do in order to get your vision to be a success. So that's something that I was missing, and now it's here. And I think our greatest success right now is that Ray T is becoming a brand. It's becoming a really high line brand that the community and everybody else, is looking at it, and they understand that I have credibility. They could trust me. They could trust the product, which is the most important thing, and that they know that the product that they're getting, it's a chef created, chef executed, top-notch, high-level product all the time. We don't cut corners. The product itself is a very expensive product. Like, let's just take, for instance, when you're on the flip truck and you're getting your side sauces, the special sauce, the truffle aioli, these types of items, yeah, one could use Admiration mayo, but we don't do that. It's Hellman's mayo all the time. Whether they tell the difference or not, I don't know, but I could tell the difference, and I know that I'm working with the best product possible. So that's the product that we've been giving since day one. So the community at this point realizes and understands that when they're getting prepped by Ray T or anything that's by Ray T, It's of the highest caliber. It's top-notch ingredients. It's chef made. It's chef executed. And it's really on a higher level than anything else that they could get.
Right.
And they also realize that it's stuff that they would serve their own children, everybody in their own home. It really is that I brought chef techniques that I learned over my years between the restaurant and between school, and took the community flavors and the community ideas and really married them well together in order to make an elevated Syrian cuisine for our community.
Right, right. Well, like your business is called Flipped by Ray T, Prepped by Ray T. Like, did you ever struggle with divorcing your personality from the brand? Like, because a lot of times for people, that's like, it prohibits them from scaling because they themselves are personally required for the business to scale. But as you catered events with hundreds or thousands of people, was that ever an issue for you?
I don't know if it's an issue. It's a struggle. It's something that, yeah, everybody wants you at their event. So if we have 3 events in a day, I have to set up every event so that the event could really work on its own without me there. And then I roam to all 3 events.
Interesting.
Yeah, now of course, that's just the part for the customer to see that I was at the event. But there's no food product that gets to those events without me.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's me in the kitchen with a sous chef, an assistant chef who's helping me with anything that I need, but I am producing and creating every single thing that comes out of that kitchen that goes to a catering event, or that goes into the cooked showcase in the store, or that goes into the butcher department in the store. I am on top of every single item that's there.
Right.
So is it hard to upscale? Listen, as long as I could make the product and distribute the product to all of the different facets in the company, that'll be okay, and I'll be able to hop in all these different locations at any given time. I'll tell you a little secret, Flipped by Ray T. I'm there. Am I there till 2:00 in the morning? No. So if you ordered something at 1 in the morning, my sous chef, Mark, is going to be the guy who made your burger that night, and I'm fully confident that that burger is going to be made exactly how I would make it.
Right.
Because I taught him, and the burger itself was formed and was done and handed to him raw, obviously, but handed to him where he just has to cook it perfectly, and we'll be good to go.
You mentioned how Flipped is open till what, 3 in the morning?
We changed the hours a little bit. It seems like we were open later than everybody was up,
Right.
So we're there about 2:00 in the morning. Yeah,
Nice.
2:00 in the morning.
What's your daily schedule, your daily routine? What time are you in the kitchen? I think it's important for people to hear, not just how hard you work, but how hard you have to work to run a business like this.
Yes. Well, on a normal day, so what's normal? I guess, like, let's say it was a day where I just needed to worry about the store.
Sure.
There was no caterings that day, which is very rare in the summertime. I could get into the kitchen at 8:00 in the morning, get everybody's workstation ready to go for when they all show up at 8:30 in the morning, and then we go straight into production, stocking, and doing everything that we need to do for the store, and that'll go on till about 7:30 at night.
Wow.
Now, if you have
12
a
hours
day,
straight, okay. 12
Yeah.
hours straight.
Now, if you have a day with a catering event, multiple catering events, I definitely get into the kitchen by 6:00 in the morning. I like to be there 5:45. Most of the time, it's 6:00, and I start pumping from there. I start sending the food to the event during the day, where I have another crew who's accepting the food and starting to organize and starting to get everything ready to go for the event. Then, when the store closes, I'll get to the event. Then we do the event, and then there's cleanup, and we're not done till about 2:00 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and with Flipped, I have the store, I supply Flipped, I have a certain amount of hours during my production day where the production goes straight for Flipped. Everything is made fresh daily for Flipped. And I'll send that stuff to the commissary, and then once I close the store, I'll go to the commissary, and we'll spend a few hours at the commissary. It's very, very important, especially when the name is Flipped by Ray T, that the staff and everybody turns around and Ray T's there. Nobody wants to work for somebody who's not there. So I put in many hours at the commissary on a nightly basis.
Right. I mean, there are days where you're working 18, 20 hours, which is unbelievable. I want to ask you, so how did you expand your business? Right now you have three main arms of your business. You have your butchery, or like what do you call that? It's just like, is that Prep by
PREPT.
Rati?
Yeah,
That's
that's
Prep by
PREPT, yeah.
Rati. You have your catering business, and you have your food delivery service now
Yeah.
that people can order.
And we
Uber
also
Eats.
have in the back end, we have a wholesale going
Really?
on.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. That's probably that's got to be one of the biggest ones, or at least
That's what
forming
we're
out to be.
that's
the
what we're
goal.
working on. That's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal. The wholesale and the prepped is definitely the goal. We're looking to, now at this point we're looking to make 2 flagship stores. We're looking to expand and really bring prepped and flip together in New Jersey in Deal. And the situation in Brooklyn just isn't the best situation for what I was saying earlier, how the customers, they're shopping by me because they want to see me and they want my blessing on the product and they want to be taken care of and they want custom made items. We just can't do that right now. We're having a difficult time doing that right now in our Brooklyn location because we have a little storefront, which really is like a grab and go Prep by Ray T on Kings Highway. Then I have a tremendous commissary on Avenue X. So we're really trying to make a flagship store in Brooklyn and have everything under one roof so that our shoppers could really have the experience that they're looking for.
Very cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the expansion. What's it like serving President Trump? That's my question.
I have to tell you, to this day, I won't forget one detail of that day and everything leading up to that day.
Tell me the whole story.
I'll tell you the whole story. So when you get a phone call from Norma Cohen, you answer the phone call no matter what's going on, and no matter what Norma Cohen says, you say yes. So thank God Norma and I have a really great relationship, and Norma decided to take a chance on Ray T. And the family that was hosting President Trump at the time is also a very special family to me, have been big supporters of me since I was a kid. So it was just a really great stage to start working on a tremendous project. So Norma called me and she said, Ray T, we have a job that's only made for you. I can't tell you who it's for. I can't tell you when it is. All I can tell you is that you need to say yes and come to my office. I said, okay, no problem. Let's do this thing, So I get into Norma's office and she sits me down and she just looks at me and she goes, it's the president. I go, huh? She goes, yeah, the president's coming to deal, and you can't tell anybody. Now I'm thinking like I'm gonna get ill-caged, if this leaks. I'm thinking no one knows, And she says it's the president of the United States. There's only one guy who could do this. It's you. He wants burgers, the best burgers you ever made in your life, and that's what you're gonna do. I said, okay, sounds great. Sounds like a plan. And then everything leading up to that day, between having to have the Secret Service look into you, look into everybody in the staff. I got a phone call, I'll never forget, I got a phone call, the event was on Sunday. I got a phone call Friday afternoon, really 20 minutes before Shabbat. Okay, Ray T, you can't have your refrigerated truck on premises. Oh, what are you talking about? I can't have my refrigerated truck. It's the president of the United States. I have raw meat. Everything's got to be under refrigeration. I can't have my truck. Absolutely not. You can't have your truck. I hang up the phone. I think I had a meltdown. Had a complete meltdown. I had to call Lisa and Pauline from Sauda. At the time, Norma had contracted them to help with me, basically. And Lisa and Pauline were great. They called me up. They said, Ray T, breathe. We're gonna breathe. Goes, we're just gonna go to Walmart right after Shabbat, and we're gonna get every cooler they have, and we're gonna fill them up with ice, and we're gonna deliver them before Secret Service comes, and everything's gonna be fine. I go, okay, guys, whatever you say.
That's crazy.
Whatever you say, yeah. So, it was hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and the Secret Service does this on purpose. They don't want you to know the restrictions. They don't want you to be able to be prepared for anything. So now the day comes. I didn't sleep all night. I'm waiting online. At the time, we had to do the COVID test for the second time. Okay, fine. So I can't sleep that night. We go in. Secret Service lets you in. Okay, now I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay, we light the grills. Everything's flowing. The VIPs come in. Everything's great. All of a sudden, I realize there's like a scaffolding behind my grill, and I'm like, this house isn't under construction. I don't know what this thing's doing here. Okay, fine. No one knows when the president's really coming. All of a sudden, two snipers dressed to the nines with guns like this big start saying, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me, sir." I turn around, I go, "Holy moly, what's going on here?" The scaffoldings for the snipers, and there's boats in the water, and you're hearing the helicopters, and all of a sudden the head of the Secret Service looks at me and goes, "Stop everything that you're doing and leave the premises."
Whoa.
I go, "Huh?" And he goes, "Everything needs to be off. No cooking is to be done right now. The president is about to walk in. No open flames. Your job here is done." I said, "Okay, no problem, you know." So everyone had to go to the front. Of course, I had a little giz. You know, I'm staying as president. I'm SY. I'm staying at this giz. You know.
Right.
So, and no phones. Everyone's phone. They all paid crazy money. You know. I'm getting paid to be there. You know.
Right.
They all got their phones locked in these pouches. I had my phone on me from 5 in the morning.
Right.
So all of a sudden I take out my phone, I get a little giz, and all of a sudden somebody right behind me was like, "I'll take that." You know? I was like, "You can take it, just keep the video, okay? Just keep the video, please." And
Awesome.
it was just a tremendous day, and thank God it was a success, because when President Trump was running again, we got the call to do it again. Wow. And I don't know. I got to serve to the pleasure of the president, you know?
That's amazing. Nice. Did he like it?
I don't know. I could lie to him and be like, he said it was the best burger ever, but you don't really see him. You don't know if he ate.
He probably didn't even eat.
I couldn't tell you.
Probably don't let him eat.
But the staff liked it. They all told me they liked it. The sniper liked it, so that was good. You know, he didn't kill me, so we're good.
You gotta bribe the guys with the guns.
Yeah.
You know? Right.
But that was a tremendous experience. Again, you don't get that phone call and you don't get to do that event if you weren't doing these small wins and building up to that point for Norma to turn around and say, "Ray T's the guy for this, you know, he's going to do it."
That's awesome.
That was really tremendous time and opportunity for me.
That's awesome. And like, what are some of your other biggest accomplishments? I know you've done like breakfast, lunch, and dinner service at, you know, many events. You've been doing high heat for 15, 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
You do, you know, like every premier event in the community, I would say, you know, so many of them can be traced back to you for the catering. I just think it's unbelievable, like the operation that you built, you know, the scale of your operation. Guys, there's a very good chance you found out about Momentum through Kosher Media. These guys are the premier advertisers throughout Jewish communities all over the world. Let me just tell you something. Momentum currently has however many thousands of listeners per episode. David and the Kosher Media team have been helping me expand my reach for over a year now. They have dozens of Instagram accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers, tens of thousands of contacts for email and text blasts, WhatsApp chats like there's no tomorrow. I mean, the list goes on. Whatever it is you're trying to advertise, a product, a service, a podcast, anything at all, call Kosher Media. It's an amazing experience working with them, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Guys, koshermedia.com. It's that simple, koshermedia.com. Tell David I sent you, and let's get back to the episode. Not only have you done events, but you've also done like trips for thousands of community members at a time, whether it be winter vacation or Pesach or whatever, you know, whatever you cater, but you're essentially feeding, 1,500 people for 10 days straight, but they can only eat your food. It better be good. It better be good. Right? That's like the ultimate test, you know? And it's on Pesach oftentimes, right?
Yes.
So you got to make it extra good, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that. How'd you get into catering trips?
When I graduated culinary school, the catering company, like when you use the word catering, a lot of times people think, okay, a wedding in Shad Etzion. You know, for me, a catering event is when I'm handling everything from A to Z in a different venue, and I have to go out and go execute that, whether it's for 20 or 30 people or 300 to 1,000 people.
Right.
So,
do you do weddings, by the way?
I actually did do one wedding, again with Norma Cohen, which
Nice.
was great. Yeah, that was really, really amazing experience.
Is it something you're looking to expand?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not opposed to anything. The whole way that this business came to be a business and the company came to be a company was I just said yes to everything.
You're open-minded,
you know?
right.
Yeah, open-minded, say yes, work hard, put your head down and get the job done. And then all of a sudden you turn around and you built a catering company. It wasn't my first thought. But on that, a lot of people would ask me, could you come to the house and do a private dinner? Could you come do a 5-course plated dinner? One of my first clients for that was Joey Shama. He's a big supporter of me till this day. And that was really a tremendous opportunity to showcase my culinary skill and what I learned in school. You know, whip out the sous vide, do a little molecular gastronomy, do it for people where the party was about the food.
Right.
It wasn't about the bar mitzvah.
Well, the food wasn't an add-on.
Right. The food was why they were coming together. I want to come and taste Ray T's food.
Right.
So that, from there, people started to think, oh, well, if Ray T's willing to come to the house and do it for 10 people, 12 people, so if we're 10 or 12 people and we're going to Aruba, would he come? So I got a phone call, could you come with 3 couples to Aruba? I did Aruba. I got a phone call from Bobby Dweck years ago. It was the first time I traveled to go to St. Kitts, to the Park Hyatt St. Kitts. He told me, listen, we just need you to do lunch and dinner. We're very chill. Sit with a few of the wives, make the menu. Let's get the shipping done and let's do it. I don't know what I was thinking. I just said, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Meanwhile, I had to figure out USDA. I had to figure out how to ship my stuff, how to truck my stuff from Brooklyn to Miami, then to air ship it from Miami to St. Kitts, all in time to cook and serve for 75 to 100 people for 6 days. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but holy moly, I pulled it off.
Wow.
I pulled it off. After I pulled that off, you know, people started to call a little bit more, and then I guess my biggest break in this category would be Charles Shaheba. You know, Charles, a gem of a guy, called me up a few years ago and said, Ray T, you know, I'm looking to take certain portions of the Passover trip to the next level. I want you to come handle the barbecue portion of the trip during lunchtime for my Passover trip. I said, okay, sounds like a dream job, you know, dream job.
And the interesting thing, by the way, is that I'm sure they got a lot of people coming on the trip because of you. You know, like it not only is you might be humble, you might say no, definitely not. But I think
I don't know about the first time. The second time they were definitely coming for me. The first time no one knew. Okay,
I was a
newbie.
All right, fine.
I was a newbie. I was an add-on towards the end. I wasn't on call right away. They have a tremendous caterer already on the job. So what Charles was doing, he was creating a team, and he realized that, you know, the community, once you're known for something and they label you as being something, then that's who you are. So, you know, Akimori is the authority on sushi. Reiti is the authority on barbecue. Again, wasn't my hopes and dreams. I did go to a 4-year culinary school, and I'm hoping that now I'm seeing that people are realizing that I'm a chef and that I'm next level and that I can do everything. But that's what I was labeled as. And then he got another great caterer to handle the rest of the trip. So I said, okay, sounds like a dream job. Let's do it. How much could these guys eat? You know, sat down with Charles. I sat down with the caterer. We made the meat list. We made all the orders. You know, I'm thinking there's 5 pallets here worth of meat, thousands and thousands of pounds of meat. I said, we're coming back with half this stuff. I turn around on day 8.
How many people on the trip?
There must have been 1,200 people on the trip. Okay,
so I turned
only barbecue. Right. I'm not the caterer. Only the barbecue. Turn around, and there wasn't a hot dog left at the end of day 8.
Totally exceeded the expectations.
Yeah. So the second year, I guess you could say they signed up because Ray T was there. But now we're already signed up for a 3rd year. Very, very excited. And you know, who knows? Maybe looking to do something with the vacation. Trips has become a thing, you know. If PREPT could handle 2-3 trips a year, along with the catering, along with Flipped, along with the store, along with the wholesale, I mean, you're looking at breaking that ceiling. That's what we're hoping to do, to break that ceiling. We're right there.
Right, very cool. I love it. No, I love it. You mentioned in passing how back in, November, 8 months ago, you were 2 weeks away from closing your doors. It's very important for people to see that. They see you today, PREPT by Ray T, Flip by Ray T, catering and the storefront and whatever it might be. And they see all these ventures that you're working on. You're getting millions of views on Instagram, by the way, which is not your business. You're not a social media company. You know, people are loving that. Yet 8 months ago, you were 2 weeks away from closing your doors. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Listen, when I first started PREPT by Ray T, I was like all over the place. I didn't really have a clear vision. A lot of times people would be like, "Oh, I didn't know you do that. Oh, I didn't know that you sell raw meat. Oh, not marinated. I thought everything comes marinated. Oh, I thought everything comes cooked. What do you mean? It's prepped. It's everything's prepared. Isn't it all prepared food? So in the beginning, it was very difficult for both myself and for the customer to really figure out what it was that I was offering to the people. I think a lot of people didn't really know what I was doing and what was really going on. Like you said, one of our greatest accomplishments, I guess, in the last 8 months is thanks to my new partners. Joe Beta, who runs my marketing, this guy, it's rolling. We're about to hit 1 million views.
Wow.
1 million views.
For a catering company, for a food business.
For a food business, 1 million views. He is so meticulous about every single thing that he posts. Almost to a fault. Like sometimes I just want to shake him and be like, Joe, just post it, man. Just post it. We got to get it out. He was like, it's not good, man. It's not G. It's not G. We got to wait till it's G,
That's
so
great.
It's good, in case you don't know what G is. You got to learn the Joe Beta lingo. But yeah, Joe really took the vision and everything that we were already doing, and he created a story. He created a story, created a look that was definitely missing, that no one really knew existed. And all of a sudden, everyone's going, oh man, I didn't know you do this.
Interesting.
I didn't know you have that. And meanwhile, I'm killing myself. I was like, I've been doing this for 4 years, man.
Right.
But it's tremendously important. And you really, really need to, you think everybody knows, but really nobody knows. You have to go out there. You have to teach your customer. You have to teach the community. You have to show the community, like, this is what we do and we do it the best and nobody does it this way. And the only way to do that is to be in their face and to be attractive and to be on a next level. So just like the food product is on the next level, I mean, the marketing and the Instagram's on next level. And wasn't planned.
Who thought of that? Ooh.
Wasn't planned, wasn't thought of. They do. I'm gonna kill him a little bit. He gives me this script. Joe will give me this script, and he'll be like, "Yo, it's just ideas." I go, just leave it to me. I got this, And I don't know. One day I was in like an extra good mood. I don't know. I'm moody. I'm very moody. People don't know that because out in front I'm always smiling or whatever. But I'm a chef and I'm very, very moody. And I was very, very happy that day. I don't know what's going on. And Joe was just like, okay, you ready, Ray? I was like, just turn the thing on. I was like, ooh, 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 And I don't know, it just happened, Now I'm riding my bike on Saturday and there's little kids on the porch. They're like, AT, ooh, ooh, ooh.
That's awesome.
And then my kids are looking at me and they go, Dad, they said, ooh, ooh, ooh. Could you do the ooh, ooh, ooh? I was like, guys, it's not like a planned thing,
It's kind of just happened.
Yeah, it kind of just happened. And okay, it's prepped by Ray T. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wow, it's a thing nowadays.
Yeah, it's a thing.
People go crazy
It's
for the
a thing. Maybe we got to do a competition. Everybody show me your ooh, ooh, ooh,
That's great. So, I mean, like, I want you to, like, you told me, you explained to me why it was that you were 2 weeks away from closing your doors. But what does that look like? I mean, take me into, you're tabulating your debts or your overdue payments and your assets, whatever's coming in. And, like, what was the moment that you told yourself, am I really going to continue or do I have to close this down?
Yeah, so you're looking at the vendor bills, you're looking at things that are coming up, and you're trying to see, is anything that's coming up, maybe if I don't draw a salary this month and these caterings that are coming up could go to this and to go to that, you turn around and you say, listen, I could either, file bankruptcy and mess everybody over, but knowing that this is the only thing that I know how to do. Yes, I have a degree, but this is what I know. This is what I know. This is what I love. This is really what I want to be successful at. So once you turn around and say, so yeah, just file Chapter 11 and mess over all your vendors and start from scratch, and that just wasn't me. It's not what I'm about, and I know that if I want to continue in this business, I won't be able to buy anything ever again. So thank God I was able to partner up with a family who, two brothers, Jeffrey and David Beta, who really are meticulous, very, very meticulous. I didn't have that side. I didn't have the business side. I don't have a P&L every month, a profit and loss sheet every month. I'm not looking at the numbers like that. I'm not badgering my vendors and saying, I want this 25 cents cheaper and these types of things. So they really came in and they cleaned up that situation and put it on a track. Of course, they put in a nice sum of money into saving the company. You know, I was faced with a deal to make. You know, do you want to take care of the vendors, or do you want to take care of yourself? And I told Jeffrey, you know, I said, this business is all about relationships. It's all about who you know. It's all about who's the guy who's going to give you the line of credit. I said, the vendors have to get taken care of. So he said, okay, so here's the deal. I saw the deal, said, okay, thank you. Let's do it. You know, and put it away. It's like the get, you know, you put it away, you lock it up, and that's it. That's it. So we put it away, we locked it up, and we're just focused on getting this job done. And thank God, yeah, I just have to make a decision. Right. Am I going to be behind the desk, or am I going to continue to do this? And I said, I want to continue to do this. So the only way to continue to do this is find a team who's going to come in, who's going to clean it up, and is going to put you on the right path for your last shot.
It's crazy. It's crazy how you were 2 weeks away. I want to ask you about balance. You mentioned in passing, like, your wife, there will be times where your wife has to beg you for a Thursday night, you know? And I think, like, in a business that you're in, that's 24/7, that you have to be, you know, you have to answer calls, you have to accept shipments, you're in the kitchen at 5:45 sometimes, you know?
Right.
And so, like, what does the balance look like? Like, and even, like, going on Passover trips or going to Aruba, you know, like, do you get to go on vacation with your family? How do you make sure you're carving out that time? And what are the struggles over there?
It's a great question. So my wife never negs. There's nobody like my wife. The only reason why I'm still here, I'm still continuing, I'm still on this path is because of my wife. There's no doubt about it. She's much stronger than I am. So, you know, thank God for that, because I'm always crying. I'm always gassed, you know. But yeah, you start to appreciate and love and understand Shabbat. There's nothing like Shabbat. It's a very, very special time for me, for my family. I spend all 36 hours of Shabbat with my kids and with my wife, and it's really, really incredible. So that goes without saying that Shabbat's like my time with my kids. I'm not looking to do a Sebit. You know, I'm not looking to do a pizza event at 11 o'clock at night, Saturday night. You know, I carved out that Friday afternoon till Saturday night, till that Sunday morning.
I was going to ask, how'd you make your Shabbat 36 hours? What's the secret?
Yeah. That's how I did it. And so that's very, very special. Now, when it comes to trips, sometimes there are perks. I mean, my wife and my family, they get a tremendous Passover trip, which is really, really amazing. And again, I have the dream job. I'm the lunchtime guy. So, right. Yeah, I'm there at the seder. I'm there at the dinner table. I'm there a lot of the times. Yes, from 5:30 in the morning till about 5:30 in the afternoon every day on the Passover trip, I'm unavailable. But after that, it's like, it just turns off. You don't remember everything that you had to go through during the day. The second that chef coat comes off, the second you take that shower, I'm like a new person. Like, I don't need to have sleep. I don't need to go have me time. My me time is with my family and with my wife. And yeah, of course, there's always dead time. There are slow times. This is not the summer every single day.
Right.
Though it would be amazing. It's not the summer every day. There are, you know, the dead of February. It's, what do you got? You got the Super Bowl. That's really all you have the whole time in February. So there are times, you know, I get to go to my son's ice hockey game. I get to be with my girls at the center. It's not never. You never say never. You find your moments, you find your times, and you just roll with them.
A lot of teens feel pressure to follow safer careers. What would you say to a 16, 17, 18-year-old who feels the pressure to pursue something less risky, less entrepreneurial, more cookie cutter, and who has a passion for something like cooking?
I don't think that anything is safe anymore. I don't think that anybody knows what's going on anymore. And I think anybody who tells you go with the safer choice or go with the sure thing hasn't experienced adversity at all in their life before, or haven't had a hard time in anything. And there are people who just have an easy breezy successful time. That is not unheard of. It happens. And I wish all those people the best. But To be very honest, I don't think anything is safe. And I think that you could be as calculated as you want to be. And you could write it down on paper as much as you want. And you could weigh the pros and cons. But if you're not passionate about it and it's not something that you want to do, there's going to be a time where it's hard and you're not going to be able to move forward with it because you're not passionate about it. And now you're going to be stuck at a worse point where you're starting over instead of building from a young age to that passion and to that career that you really want because it was going to be hard. You could have spent all that time and all those years building to it so that when you're 34, it's not so hard anymore. But if you went with the cookie cutter thing and something happened because everyone told you it's a sure thing, but it really wasn't, and now you don't have the passion to really turn around and say, well, I need new investors now, I need to go do this. You're just going to turn around and you have to start from scratch.
Interesting.
And I think that's tough.
Do you think people should follow their passion, should chase their passion?
I think that they should chase their passion within reason. And I say within reason where, again, I went to culinary school, but I didn't go to a certificate program. I didn't go to, a 6 months program in New Hyde Park. I didn't go to a 3-week crash course in the city.
Right.
I'm invested in it and I have a degree. I have options. There are things that I'm able to do, though I don't want to, other than what I'm doing now.
Interesting.
So if you want to follow that career, you need to go follow that career. You need to go follow that passion, but do it in a smart way.
Set yourself up well.
Yeah, set yourself up well. Be well versed. I wish I knew how to use the computer more. My partners are sending me Excel spreadsheets every 5 minutes. I can't read them. I can't read them.
Right.
The last 8 months, I got to put on my glasses and I got to start learning how to read Excel sheets. Okay, but this is what you have to do. So I would say you follow that passion, you follow that career, but you do it in a well-rounded way where the sky's the limit and you have other options down the road. But the option should never be don't do it. Go after it, do it, but there's a right way to do it.
I love it. It's a nuanced approach that I think really fits everybody. To close, I want to ask you for your momentum moment. It's sort of like a moment of internal shift. I'm sure there's many of them, but if you have to choose the top one throughout your entire career history and your business history, it's sort of a moment of internal shift, an internal realization that really changed everything for you.
I think I would say that my graduation weekend from graduating Johnson & Wales, when my parents came up and my sister and my girlfriend at the time, soon-to-be wife, came, and we were in the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and I really realized that, holy moly, I really truly invested monetarily, yes, with my parents' money, but monetarily and physically and mentally into this career, into this passion that I really, really love. And I looked around and it was a hard 4 years. And I just looked around the Dunkin' Donuts Center and I'm in my garb and I'm graduating summa cum laude. And I'm really, I'm at the top of the world at this point. That's when I really realized, like, this is real. This is happening. There's no turning back. You got the best training that you could get. And you're going to go take it and you're going to go do something with it.
Love it.
That was my aha moment.
Wow. It's great. I mean, like, looking back at your whole career, you started when you were 12 years old. It's crazy,
Yeah.
And thank God today with the multiple arms of your business and to see you expanding in real time. I think it's very cool. Ray T, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. It was a pleasure.
It's a lot of fun. All right. Awesome.
Thanks.
Hey guys, so glad you made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching the entire episode. Here are my top 3 takeaways, actionable things that you can take into your own life from my conversation with Ray. All right, number 1 is accept now, figure it out later. There were so many times in Ray T's career where he was called for an event or project he had never done before. For example, feeding 1,200 people for 10 days straight on a Passover trip, or traveling with a family to St. Kitts as their personal chef. He had no idea how he would go about these things, but he just said yes. He figured it out as he went. The lesson here is to never turn down an opportunity. Say yes, and if you're determined, you'll figure it out. Up next is to follow your passion, but in a smart way. Ray's parents sent him to culinary school, but they made him get a food science degree just in case. he needed something to fall back on. Ray has a passion for cooking, which has worked out for him, but he recognized, really, his parents recognized that you should go for what you love. But you have to do that in a nuanced and smart way. And guys, last but not least, diversify your income streams. Ray does catering, he has a delivery service, he has a butcher shop, and he's expanding into wholesale. So if it's a slow season for food delivery, he's okay. And if a retail partner doesn't reorder, it doesn't tank his business. Like, he has multiple things that he can fall back on. That's all for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed, check out my conversation with Morris and Simon Fax. These guys came from Syria to America as teenagers with no money, and they are now two of the top DJs in New York. I mean, I'm talking about performing with legendary figures like Alesso, Marshmallow. The list goes on. Check that episode out by searching Momentum Facts on any platform. That's FAKS, or click the link in the show notes. And guys, before you go, a little bit of homework for you. I'm going to let you choose. You can either do one of two things. Either leave a comment down below with one thing you like about Momentum and the one thing I can improve, or share this episode with 3 friends. Guys, it's a very simple ask. Either task will take you about 25 seconds. So pause the video and get to work. With that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. We have some of our most high-profile guests coming up, so be sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you there. Until next time.